Hi, so welcome to the Emma template editing guide. We'll start here with the home page. So first thing, if you haven't already, you'll log into Squarespace and it'll show you this dashboard. Here's mine, it's a number of sites. And then you go ahead and you click on website, and that brings you into the template if you're not there already. I'll make this a little bit bigger, might move myself out of the way in a second. So as you get to the pages, you go ahead and you select website. And then here we are on the home page. And with each of these pages, what I'm going to do is kind of take you top to bottom, not editing everything, but editing some of the key parts, key moments, things that maybe are a little bit different on my template vis-a-vis things that Squarespace has shown off. And we'll just go through these pages one by one. And okay, let's go. So for these purposes, let's pretend that you're a couples therapist. And we're gonna go top to bottom. So on Emma, she has this like logo here, which is pretty slick, but not everyone is gonna have a ribbon. So first thing we'll do for any page is we go into edit and we kick it off. So we want to edit the site header for this, and we hit here, and you'll always see this little pencil when it's something that you can't edit. So if I go in here and I want to get rid of that, what I can do is I can delete it if I don't have my own logo. And then by default, what it does is it makes your site title what the file's called. So you see this pop up, and let's call it Couples Therapy with Jamie, for example. Cool. Hit it. So we save that, and let's say I'm doing couples, so therapy for couples and relationships. And whether you're navigating a life change, relationship rupture, or need to light a spark, forgive. I'm going to make spelling mistakes throughout this whole thing. Okay, so now I assume this is not you. So to edit any photo, click on it, hit that little pencil, replace, and then you'll want to upload a file to get the picture of you in there. I don't really have a picture of me that I like, but let's pretend I uploaded a file, and it comes, and this is the picture of me. Select it, add it, and there you go. Easy enough to change and swap in the photo of one that's of you. Now, Emma throughout has this ribbon as part of its design. If you want to get rid of that, you go ahead, you click in the background, hit this pencil, and you'll see it's called this like squiggle PNG. You just delete, and there, it's gone. And we can save it. So there, that's gotten rid of the squiggle, and you want to make this maybe a little bit smaller because there's a background image there, and then you can zip this up and make it right and tight. Okay, so we got it started, and ways you can, I'll let you edit it yourself, but the two things that are in this that are maybe a little bit different, this right here is a highlight. So if you wanted to keep it, you could just replace the text. So clients come to me when they've lost, let's say, the spark again. Or if you don't like that highlight, you can see that it's right here. It's these underlined A's. So you'll select it, hit these, and you can change it. Some folks like an underline. Draw a little more attention to it. Or to get rid of it altogether, we scroll all the way down, we hit remove, and we can do that again here. And let's say, you know what, maybe you want to circle it. Bam, you get that little circle. Some other things you can play around in there as well. Let's say you wanted to make it a different color. There, you see this color tab, and you want it a darker blue, for example. Cool. And you have the same thing down here, and we've covered here how to change a photo, how to change a photo. But this is a good time to talk about the stock photography. So Squarespace links to a ton of different pictures, and Unsplash is the company they bought. So if you wanted to change a photo but you don't have one to upload, you'd click on it, hit this editing pencil again. We will go to replace, and this time we're going to hit browse stock images. And by default, these are just the ones there, but let's say we wanted to do a couple in the park. Search for that. Okay, we have some geese, which is not totally right. Let's see if there are 2 people up top. Which one do I maybe like? Okay, I like this one. So I'll add that in. And it's uploading. We see that little line going through. It's taking a while. All right, cool. So here's a couple in the park. Now, you'll see this photo. It's a little high on the water. So if you want to change the focus point, which is also can be helpful on smaller screens, just pull it down. We can't really get the focus point too different. But if let's say we wanted to make this picture smaller, to make our text bigger, we could do that as well. Now you see it like moves. It moves around what it's showing, what it's highlighting in the photo. Now same thing here in this background. There's a really low discrete kind of swiggle. If you want to get rid of that, it's the same process. You'll click on it. We'll hit edit section. Then it's in the background, and the wave we want to delete. That's gone. And let's say we wanted to like make this smaller too. You can see how Squarespace does that dynamically. Bring the photo over. Could do something like there. So as you drag stuff around, it shows you really nicely what it's going to look like for the user. Okay. All right. So this is our first accordion. I like accordions as a design element that will give folks information if they want it without overwhelming them. Meaning, we can get really in depth in these specialties or on the specialty pages. You'll see that I use it again for modalities. But rather than having a wall of text that oftentimes can cause a user to bounce out, say that's too much, not really read it, here we give them a headline and then a description if they're interested. So someone, when they're using this website, would be able to click on this and it expands and shows you what is underneath for a description. So if these are not your specialties, the way you edit those, click on it, bring up the editing pencil, and then it's under content. So each of these is our titles. Let me click in, and then you'll see the title. I have some placeholder text for you. And also pretty important, down here, this read more links to the relevant specialty page on your website. So someone doesn't just know, okay, a paragraph about the specialty, but then what we want to do is drive the user to go a little bit deeper, to take some action, to stay on your site a little bit longer, and to learn more about you. So quickly to edit these elements, let's say we do, I do couples therapy. Let's say, I am a Gottman trained couples therapist who focuses on dynamics and patterns in a relationship. Cool, and you can go from there. Now, when you have this, it makes more sense to, I actually like to do the homepage last after I've done the specialty pages and the about me, because it kind of functions like almost like a conclusion. It's easier sometimes. All right, hold on. Like back when I was writing papers in college, it would sometimes be easier to write your intro after you've done the paper. I kind of think that carries over here. One, from a thought process, and then also two, you'll have the other pages to link to, which is kind of what we're rubbing up against here. because until we have the couples page live on the site, we can't link to it. But for the purposes of this, let's pretend that it is ready to go. And you want to keep a link here. So you would click on it, you go ahead and hit edit, and this brings up where we would link to on the site. So if I had a couples page, I would just write in couples, and it would bring that up. Obviously, I don't have one, so for these purposes, I'll just show how it will work with like infertility. Excuse me. As you begin typing, it searches, lets you link, and now we've changed that. Saves automatically. Some notes on design. If you wanted to not just change the content, but the way that this looks, you can go into edit again, and then in design, you can make these larger. Stay away from heading 1 because that's more than a font size. To Google, that says this is the subject of the page. So really heading 2, 3, 4, think about those as font sizes, but you can only have one H1 per page. Okay, we want to make it smaller in this case, and we want to make the paragraphs bigger. We want to make them smaller. We want to move around where they are. So, you get it. And the one thing that can be valuable here, you can do a background, which I sometimes like. It looks good here, but depending on your color selection, you might want to do like, let's say it's a dark background with a light color. Go to background, and now you get to select your color. Want to do blue, or like a light blue. Dark obviously doesn't work as well because we have that blue there. But you could also make it a much lighter color if that's how you want to play it. And then stroke, what that means is to have a border on the outside. So not bad. And then you'll also see in here, and these design elements carry over across photos and other things. So stroke will always mean an outline. Thickness, the thickness of that outline. Corner radius, what kind of curvature do you want to have? By default, it would be square, but with photos, I sometimes like to round it, putting in a 30 or a 20, and you see that just gives it a little bit more of a modern bend, kind of appley. But depending on how your buttons are shaped and what you like, you don't have to do that. Okay, so same thing down here. I like a strong quote, and what you see here is what's unique about this is we have this little expand, and what this does is no matter your heading or your text size, what it does is as you make this bigger and smaller, it dynamically fills up the space. So this can be useful when you want the text to have some gravitas to it, to be a little bit bigger. But you can't get that font larger by playing around in headings and things like that. Cool? Okay. I think we've covered how to change a photo, obviously how to edit text, little emoji there if you like it. Edit. Okay, now let's get to this element, dividers. What dividers are is the way that these sections, which Squarespace calls blocks, go from one into the next. So right here we have this curvature as our divider, but let's say you like it just to have no design to it. So you go to edit section, and then you go to the bottom, and if you want to turn it off, by default, straight lines. If you wanted to do something different, excuse me, let's turn that back on. You go ahead and you click in. Bunch of different options here, depending on what you want. Sometimes I do think about how do we guide a reader's eye. So this point I like, or this one too. And the chevron pulls down. But I don't want it going up, I want it going down. I want there to be some of that motion. So you can flip it up, down, like that. You can play around with these things with alignment. That'll show where it goes on the page, kind of where it's pointing. By default, we put that in the middle, which I'm a fan of. Um, and you can do, yeah, okay, you can also flip on the horizontal and the vertical axes. So if you wanted to like pull someone's eye down this way, that would be the way that I would do it if you prefer. Okay. These are, now this section, okay, great, I did a lot of things on here. Okay, this section, we want to edit the content, and what we're seeing here are boxes, similar to like we had in the carousel. So you click into each one, go ahead and make those changes. If you wanted to add some elements, like what this is can be useful for things like slideshows. So you could add in like an image, might be a way to show off if you're a group practice, um, different folks at the practice, or if you wanted to have an icon about starting together, you could go ahead and add that. By button, you can add it down here, like get in contact, but you have a CTA at the bottom, so it would be kind of redundant and maybe pushy to the user to use that element right here. Okay, now let's get to, we're almost done on the homepage. This is always the biggest one because this is the first introduction to a lot of these elements. Let me move myself out of here. Maybe up a little bit because we're in the footer. Okay, so we're gonna go to the footer, and what this does is this changes everything. This is gonna be the same across the site. So to make it yours, things we already know how to do, right? Let's get rid of that. If you don't want the ribbon, we get rid of that. So background, drop the squiggle. There we go, solid color. This isn't your logo, but you could delete that too. There we go. Now, what we want to do here is, it's another way to lead the user and sort of show off if someone has come to a page that isn't your homepage, or maybe scanned it and didn't catch everything. Each of these is a link, and it's another reason sometimes to do some of this stuff towards like at the end rather than from the beginning, because you want those links live. But I have a specialty, so this goes to each specialty page. And if we were like keeping with the couples example, just change this text, highlight it, couples therapy. Now you lose the hyperlink because we've deleted it, but to get that back on any page, we will highlight it, hit this little link icon, and then type in what you want. We don't have a couples page, but let's say we'll use the infertility stand-in again. Cool. And now that takes someone to the updated page when they click on it. About me, FAQs, consultations, all the same. Location, up to you if you want to have that. Maybe you're virtual or something like that. And then this stuff at the bottom, some legalese that we want both for attribution as well as for the images and where those came from. All right, so when you're done on the page, we of course want to save. If you forget and you hit exit, Squarespace will give you a reminder. But if you don't save it, it will wipe everything. So we're going to save this because it's a example duplicate website, thankfully. Cool. All right, so that's the first one down. Those are some updates to the homepage. And up next, we'll go through the specialty pages. Okay, I guess I'll see you soon.